Good evening and welcome to the second edition of News Tonight. We'll start with a look at the top stories.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
President Yoweri Museveni warns ministers against corruption. NSSF has no money available for lump sum pay for the proposed 20% midterm access. Tanzania hosts East Africa's largest expo to reboot virus-hit tourism sector, while clubs beef up squads as others secure new coaches.
Was brought to you by Everywhere you go, MTN.
UBC News Tonight. Welcome aboard. It's me, Micheal Jordan Lukomwa, with Elizabeth Nakakoni. Members of cabinet have been cautioned against accepting favors and bribes from the business community, which could breed corruption tendencies. President Yoweri Museveni, who described such acts as a form of illegal tax, says that this could scare away potential investors. He was closing a two-day ministerial retreat at Kololo airstrip, where he emphasized the need to reduce the price of electricity for manufacturers.
Not even the heavy downpour stopped the President of the Republic of Uganda from officiating at the closing ceremony of the cabinet retreat.
If the civil service is very serious, it will help the country stabilize. It will advise the ministers what to do and not what to do. Would advise the MPs, because everywhere the civil service is there. In the parliament, there is the clerk of parliament.
President Museveni was concerned that corruption in the business sector was imminent, to the disadvantage of Ugandans.
Stop taking bribes from businesses. Because I get reports, I have not arrested anybody, which God willing I may able to do, of asking bribes from business people, political leaders of different types, including even members of parliament.
Describing it as a form of tax, Museveni warned masterminds behind the practice of unimaginable consequences.
This culture must stop, because it's very dangerous for our future. It will scare business. Businesses will run away. Investors will run away, because it's like a tax on business. I have reports about people who have been asking for bribes from companies and businesses. This must stop. We cannot tolerate it, because it will kill the future of our country. Some of the countries would have gone very far. There are many countries, some of the countries had wars, and that's why they lagged behind in Africa. But some never had wars, but they had problem of corruption. And you find they are stagnant, like the ones which had wars.
Museveni was also concerned with the price of electricity, which he wants reduced, especially for manufacturers.
Number two, the price of electricity for manufacturing. This is in the hands of the Honorable Nankabirwa. No corruption, not disturbed by corrupt people, but now cheap electricity. You will see how factories will rush in.
Ruth Nankabirwa, the Minister for Energy, under whose docket Museveni's concern falls has pledged more action.
Actually, it's not a call, it is a directive which I received loud and clear, and I am trying to work on it. We are trying to see the sites or the locations of these industrial areas to see whether we can connect power, not going through Umeme footprint, because Umeme has an agreement with us, and there are things that we should really respect in that agreement.
The two-day cabinet retreat was officially opened on Wednesday by the Vice President, Jessica Alupo. As he closed the minister's induction, President Museveni emphasized the need for Ugandans to continue observing standard operating procedures against COVID-19. Henry Okrut, UBC.
The National Social Security Fund is considering to pay the proposed 20% midterm access in a staggered manner, since it has no money available for lump sum payments if Parliament passes the NSSF amendment bill. The NSSF Executive Director Richard Byarugaba told Parliamentary Committee of Gender that savers' money was borrowed to Tanzania, Kenya, Rwanda and the government of Uganda in long-term investments.
While considering the amendments in the National Social Security Fund Bill, members of the Parliamentary Committee on Gender have learned that NSSF has no money ready to pay immediately if the law is passed to provide for 20% midterm access of savers who clock 45 years and have saved for 10 years. The NSSF Managing Director Richard Byarugaba told the committee that they will need enough grace period to mobilize funds.
Without the law, we will be paying out 938 billion shillings this year. As a result of the new law, we'll be paying out an additional 900 billion shillings, which will bring the total to 1.8 trillion shillings that we need to pay out this year. That is equivalent to over 10% of the fund.
Byarugaba also told the committee that savers' money was borrowed to East African countries through buying treasury bonds, which are long-term investments, because they didn't anticipate this amendment in a short period of time. 7.6 trillion was invested in Uganda, 2.7 trillion in Kenya, 1.4 trillion in Tanzania, and 28 billion in Rwanda. Currently, NSSF, which collects shillings 125 billion a month, is worth 15.6 trillion, and they have been paying out 938 billion annually to savers who clock age limit. But with the new amendment, 20% of the intended beneficiaries is equivalent to 902 billion shillings, and this, according to NSSF, stretches the potential total payout up to 1.8 trillion annually, which is 10% of the fund. There is also fear that the 20% midterm access may cause inflation.
As you know, our fund is invested in long-term investments, and therefore getting all this money out at the same time would have a detrimental effect. One, it would have a detrimental effect on the fund itself, because we don't have these assets and liquidity waiting there to be paid out. Secondly, we do not have the money that is going to be paid out is paid out to individuals, and because it's not significant in the scheme of things, it could lead to inflation, especially if the money is not big for people to reinvest in other big projects. So we think that we can handle the payment of the benefits, definitely, but it would have to be done in a staggered manner. And I believe that the clause that has been included within the Act, which allows the minister to come up with a statutory instrument that will regulate how we pay out this money, is so important. So at the end of the day, definitely the money will be paid out.
If you have the figures and you know the number of people that are credible to getting payments as and when they need to, then why do you keep saying you don't have money as an NSSF? I have seen the figures there. But if you plan properly, as you have shown us clearly that you can plan and cater to these people, then why should that be a question of not having enough money?
You said you should go, you politicians and others, educate the people about the benefits. But I'm employing you to do that for me. How far have you gone?
In August, President Museveni cleared workers to have midterm access to National Social Security Fund savings and directed the Minister of Gender, Labour and Social Development to make changes to the bill and return it for consent. Bernard Higa, UBC News.
Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Jacob Oulanyah, has committed to push for the revision of sexual harassment policies in the pursuit of kicking out sexual-related cases in higher academic institutions. The Speaker was launching the midterm evaluation report on fighting sexual harassment at Micheal University.
In October last year, Micheal University launched an application as one of the platforms to handle sexual-related violence within the university. It is now a year, and according to the midterm evaluation report, the application is being helpful to the students' community.
We had already received about 2 cases that were reported. So this is just a small demo of the dashboard or the access that a student gets, is able to do the online course, is able to follow up the clubs is in. This person is a male, therefore he has access to the men's hub.
The report recommends the revision of sexual-related policies for the effective handling of the vice. The Speaker of Parliament, Jacob Oulanyah, has committed support for the policy revision.
For Parliament to consider reviewing some of the existing laws as a matter of priority, if we are to deal with complex challenges such as sexual harassment decisively.
This is a major issue that creates hostile education and work environment, and that affects productivity of both students and staff in our institutions.
The report has called on for the main involvement in the struggle against sexual harassment in universities and other communities.
And involvement of men in the fight against sexual harassment within institutions was highly recommended by all the people we interviewed, and they thought Men's Hub was a noble innovation.
Other universities asked to reshape policies on sexual harassment to be enrolled on this platform.
But evidence shows that everybody should be reached in institutions. One can begin with some components, so for instance, mainstreaming the Kish clubs in all universities, that girls get the knowledge, and also the men's hubs. But for us, we recommend that if this is a comprehensive package that brings on board everybody, explore the possibilities of scaling up this project in the entire university, in the university community, and also other institutions of learning.
The project of kicking sexual harassment out of higher education institutions in Uganda, KISH project, is being funded by the government of Uganda through Micheal University Research and Innovation Fund. Abdul Nasir Lubwama and Insamba Juma for UBC News.
Another landslide has occurred in Bulucheke constituency in Bududa district, affecting sub-counties of Bunasushi, Bumayemba, Bumwalia and Bumasata. The landslide that occurred this morning at 5 a.m. destroyed farmland over 3 kilometers.
We are surprised to see the landslide has occurred, but it developed a crack last Sunday, and people thought that it will not move. Finally, this morning at around 5:30 a.m. in the morning, people started hearing the cracks, and when they heard the cracks, the people in the neighborhood started evacuating their animals to the neighboring villages. When the soil and some other things were rolling down.
Residents of Bulucheke say they received early warning of the cracks that developed 2 weeks ago.
Zizo nga weeks 2-3 nga twalaba enzakika nga zikubye era nga local leaders twategeeza abantu nti abantu abo muveewo temusulayo temubeerayo lwakuba saawa yonna ettaka linza vulumuka.
The area MP Isaac Budoy asked government to relocate the people in these risky areas to the lower ends of the district and avail funds to the district disaster committee.
Our request has been that the government should set up a regional, at least district response team, emergency team. Because now what we are coming, we are sympathizing with people, but we are leaving them in that state. So I'm appealing to the minister, the prime minister. The time is now to equip the district disaster team.
Bududa district chairman Milton Kamoti said the whole district is under threat. He adds that government's pace of relocation is too slow.
Kubanga buli kaseera tufuna ebizibu era mbadde nkubira omuwendo omulango abantu bonna naddala abantu b'ekitundu kyange kino musenguke muveeno mugende eri wansi oba tugende bulambutye tugende bulambutye.
District Environment Officer Mario Namono, who did not want to appear on our cameras because she did not sought permission from the cow, attributed the landslide to the crowing of dangerous trees.
Etaka libwatuka kuba enima yaffe si nnungi, abantu balimye bubi, emiti gye tuzimba si mirungi, emiti gye tulina okuzimba giri bajjajja baffe be bakola ki be bazimbanga nga bagiteeka mu mwanya gye tulina okuzimba. Kale nkubira guno mulanga eri abantu baffe.
City Hall Magistrates Court has charged the prominent land dealer January Bamanzi with concealing a deed. Meanwhile, the same court has remanded Lilian Kemigisha on 3 counts of obtaining registration by false pretense, theft and conspiracy to defraud.
Lilian Kemigisha, 33-year-old businesswoman, resident of Bukweri in Fort Potro, was arrested by State House Anti-Corruption Unit and paraded before City Hall Magistrates Court to answer charges. Magistrate Valerian Tumuhimbise read to her 3 charges of obtaining registration by false pretense, theft and conspiracy to defraud.
Conspired to steal a motor vehicle, registration number UAV116W, a property of Gate of Hope, a community-based organization operating in Chanjojo. Have you understood? True or not true? The plea of not guilty entered.
Prosecution led by Aduti Timothy after charge informed court that inquiries are still ongoing, thus asking court for more time. Although Lilian Kemigisha's lawyer, Chiza Simon, had requested court the accused to be granted bail, this was overruled by the presiding magistrate Tumuhimbise and remanded her to Chigo Government Prison. Prosecution alleges that on 8th February 2021, Lilian Kemigisha and others still at large in Kampala district willingly procured registration for Get Hope Education Center by false pretense. The case was resumed on 20th October 2021 for mention.
Don't worry. You will prepare yourself and come.
Meanwhile, the same court before Magistrate Valerian Tumuhimbise has charged the prominent land dealer Julai Bamanzi on charges of concealing deed. The accused Bamanzi, however, pleaded not guilty to the alleged offences. On this, prosecution informed court that inquiries are still ongoing, thus requesting court for more time.
Bamanzi, January on the 23rd day of August 2021 to date at Kampala, in Kampala City, whose intent to defraud, you consider the document which is evidence of land, to wit, a land title to land comprised of Block 2, 592, Plot 8, registered in the names of Ndajira Farida. Have you understood?
It is not true, my lord.
But you have understood before you say it is not true.
I have understood, but it is not true.
Bamanzi was, however, released on a non-cash bail of 10 million Ugandan shillings, and surety is 5 million non-cash. It is alleged that the said land belongs to Juliet Musoke, resident in Wachiso district. Court will resume on 21st August 2021. For mention of the case, Deborah Namamonde, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News.
A report on mental health and well-being of children indicates that children between the ages of 6 to 18 have been most affected by COVID-19, and as a result, different stakeholders from different organizations and countries are discussing how to mitigate the effects of COVID-19 on children.
Children between ages of 6 and 18 are among persons most affected by COVID-19. They have been tortured by guardians, while others have been mentally affected by violence. Stakeholders from different organizations and countries are providing physiosocial support to young children. In Botswana, they've accepted the call for prevention of violence against children and pledged to continue working with partners to end violence against children.
As along with some countries in the region, accepted the call from Global Partnership on Prevention of Violence Against Children.
The country director, Regional Physiosocial Support Initiative, Michael Byamukama, says the forum will improve the well-being of children.
Normally brings all of us to share lessons and what practices that would inform programming and also inform policy as we develop interventions that facilitate programming that improve the well-being of children and youth.
Joshua Opio from War Child Holland, Uganda, says they came up with an intervention of teaming up to be able to support children who have been traumatized by violence.
Many children come, especially the refugee children. They have gone through a lot of trauma, stress, anxiety, including our host community children.
He adds that, as an organization, they want every child to be able to stand strong and face challenges they have gone through.
So this intervention is specifically addressed to handle such children who have trauma, to erase those memories from them so that they are able to sit in class, listen to the teacher, and later on be able to pass the exams.
The Physiosocial Support Forum is about being innovative to help the youth live a meaningful life. This year, it was held in Maputo on the theme, Innovate, Integrate, and Thrive.
Our heads together, both academicians, researchers, practitioners, and policymakers, then we coin and come out with something that would help improve the well-being of our people.
Jane Nyiramcha, Andrew Sebira, UBC News.
Buganda Premier Charles Peter Mayiga has said that Buganda Kingdom wants a report on the fire that gutted the iconic building of Masiro at the tombs known as Muziwa Zalampanga in 2010. He was launching the thatching stage of the tombs.
Buganda royals waited for the Katikiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Mayiga, to perform the last culture norms of thatching the iconic Kasubi tombs known as Muzibu Azalampanga. By around 6:30 a.m., Katikiro Mayiga arrived at Kasubi tombs. As the norm follows, Katikiro Mayiga and Prince Junju, with the calabash and people responsible, led them to perform cultural activities ahead of launching the last hatch step. After the Katikiro addressed the media, where he emphasized that the kingdom since 2010 is demanding for a report on the fire that gutted the iconic building and appeals to the responsible agencies to produce this report.
Been demanding for it all these years. Actually, I'm one of those who testified before the commission, but I've not seen the report. Nobody has issued the report. So we don't know officially what the cause of the fire is, although we've got some knowledge about what took place, but the official report hasn't been issued.
He assures the people of Uganda that the work at the tombs is to be accomplished.
Lots of studies were being made, gathering all the people, traditional officials who are supposed to carry out the different rituals and exercises. So the actual work started in 2013. So now, towards the end of 2013. So this is about 8 years of this exercise. It's very, very tedious. It's very, very involved. You don't bring any material. There are particular materials. You don't use anybody you find across the street.
Over 6 billion Ugandan shillings has been invested in the refurbishment of Kasubi tombs that is expected to be complete in a year. Noasasra Isabella, Sebira Andrew, UBC News.
Today in History.
On the 14th of October 1964, African-American civil rights leader Martin Luther King was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for his non-violent resistance to racial prejudice in America. At 35 years, the Georgian-born minister was the youngest person ever to receive the award. Influenced by Mohandas Gandhi, Luther King advocated for non-violent civil disobedience to racial segregation, a protest he led throughout America.
My home, I smile when I think of you, Uganda. My home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda. My home, oh my Uganda.
I know, with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home, under the sun so bright, under the moon at night, on my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama.
At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda. The Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, together with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the National Agriculture Research Organization, and partners will host this year's World Food Day commemoration at National Agriculture Research Laboratories in Kawanda on Saturday, 16th of October 2021 under the theme, Our Actions Are Our Future, Better Production, Better Nutrition, a Better Environment, and a Better Life. The National World Food Day event is by invite only, but the public can join the activities on TV and on social media using hashtag World Food Day. Remember that every year, 1/3 of all food is lost or wasted. When we waste food, we also waste the labor, energy, and previous resources used to produce it. To feed everyone, we need to transform the way we grow and consume food. Let's start today. Eat local, eat seasonal, and eat sustainably to safeguard our future food. Our actions, our future.
The third edition of the Bombay Business Summit is here, starting at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Friday from the 15th of October to the 12th of November. Join us via Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube as we discuss topics like surviving and thriving through the pandemic, investing in real estate, trade and investment opportunities in Uganda, alternative dispute resolution, business formalization, and inclusive resource mobilization for Uganda's economic independence. Don't miss out.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175*94# to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy 100% double data bonus from Airtel. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an Airtel SIM card. Dial *175*94# to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175# and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Airtel, the smartphone network.
UBC News Tonight. Welcome back from the break and thank you so much for keeping it with us. Ugandans have been advised to do eye tests at least once a year for early detection and management of eye defects or any reflective errors. Ministry of Health estimates that over 1.2 million people in Uganda are visually impaired, while 250,000 are totally blind.
Every 14th of October has been designated as World Sight Day to draw the world's attention on blindness and vision impairment. The Ministry of Health estimates that over 1.2 million people in Uganda are visually impaired, while 250,000 are totally blind. The theme for this year is Love Your Eyes, and to this end, people are advised to carry out regular testing of their eyes. According to LaPay Glasses, a Pan-African eyewear brand, regular testing of the eyes helps in early detection and management of any eye defects.
So today, the biggest, form of advice that I can give the public out there is for them to eat a very, very healthy diet. Our eyes are like any other part of our body. The way you feel pain with your head, or the way you feel pain on your hand or anywhere, that's the same way we should be able to run to a medical facility when we get issues with our eyes. But to avoid that, we need to be able to eat a diet that's full of fruits and vegetables. Also, fish has been proven to be a very good diet for ensuring that you keep your eyes healthy.
Regular testing of the eyes helps in early detection and management of any eye defects. The population is also advised to be on the lookout for symptoms pointing to reflective errors.
Consistent headaches. Most people nowadays call it, I have migraines, my head is hurting. Every time you have this staying persistent for a long period of time, that could be an issue coming from your eyes. Secondly, if you're squinting all the time, you're not able to see well, you always have to strain your eyes really hard to see anything, either far or near. And we see for old people, when reading your Bible or whatever it is you like to read, you find them squinting. That could be a condition that needs to be addressed. And then having issues seeing far or seeing near, these are also eye conditions. These are symptoms that you have a problem.
In Uganda, LaPay Glasses is implementing an eye care campaign that aims at educating the population about eye care tips, but also create awareness about reflective errors and sight problems.
Relatedly, Ministry of Health and partners working to eliminate blindness in Uganda come together to celebrate World Sight Day in Moroto District in Karamoja sub-region. World Sight Day event was celebrated as Ministry of Health and partners reached and registered some milestones.
Cataract are common in Karamoja, with at least 90% out of people above 50 years becoming blind. The leading causes of blindness are cataract and trachoma. Ministry of Health and Development partners are in Moroto to commemorate World Sight Day. This year's commemoration was influenced by the partners' call to accelerate blindness interventions in the Karamoja sub-region.
On this World Sight Day, our major focus is working with the Ministry of Health to ensure early identification and referral of children who have uncorrected refractive errors in schools. And we are working very closely with schools, especially the UPE schools, to look for children who have eye challenges. And on that program, we are issuing out free spectacles.
Dr. Charles Olau, Director Health Services, who represented the Minister for Health, Dr. Lusa Cheng, toured the eye care unit at Moroto Regional Referral Hospital. The eye care unit was constructed with support from the Ministry of Health and Sight Savers International.
For that reason, we decided that no, we need to support this. And the support for the program involves building infrastructure, an eye unit, training eye health workers, ophthalmologists, ophthalmic clinical officers, and ophthalmic nurses. Now we have bought equipment for the eye unit, so we are going to equip it, and it will be commissioned in the next 1 month or so.
2021 World Sight Day theme is Love Your Eye. The event was a celebration of the milestones that have been achieved through the cooperation of state and non-state actors. With the construction of the unit at Moroto Regional Referral Hospital, people will access eye care services.
Eye care department that stands at about 90% completion marine in Moroto Regional Referral is a clear example of what collaborative efforts can achieve in promotion of health.
1 billion people around the world have preventable vision impairment, and 80% of the world's blind can be avoided. Haruna Mtesasira reporting for UBC News in Moroto District.
Tanzanians in Uganda have celebrated the Julius Nyerere Day to commemorate 22 years since the former president died. At the same event, UBC veteran journalist Siraji Kalyango was recognized for his contribution towards the promotion of Kiswahili language.
Tanzanians in Uganda have commemorated Julius Nyerere Day at Julius Nyerere Leadership Center, Makerere University, to celebrate the life of the late former Tanzanian President Julius Nyerere.
We are here to commemorate Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, his contribution to Pan-Africanism, independence of some of the African countries, liberation struggle, the unity, peace and stability of United Republic of Tanzania today. We enjoy because he's the one who initiated it with his other leaders at that particular time when he was in office. But also we thank Mwalimu for his philosophy of regional economic cooperation.
The event was attended by Tanzanian High Commissioner Dr. Aziz Ponare Mlima and Tanzanian university students in Uganda who painted the roles played by Mwalimu Julius Nyerere towards the liberation of Africa.
Under Mwalimu leadership, TANU exposed peaceful change, social equality and racial harmony. He rejected tribalism. Very important, he rejected tribalism. He rejected tribalism, I repeat it 3 times, because it's one of the biggest problems on the African continent. He also rejected all forms of racial and ethnic discrimination.
Organizers chose Makerere University to celebrate Nyerere Day because the institution played a key role in Nyerere's education life and ideological consciousness.
So we as Tanzanians, as the United Republic of Tanzania, we thought that it is befitting to commemorate the late President Julius Kambarage Nyerere, as it has become a tradition since he passed on, to come to Makerere University, which is a presidential initiative of President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. He started this center just behind me here sometimes in 2018. To have a Julius Nyerere Leadership Center, which will teach the philosophy of Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, to prepare the young minds to know about the history, the Pan-Africanism, to be patriotic and things like that.
The event also recognized the works of the veteran journalist Raj Kalyango towards his contribution of Kiswahili language through his works in various international media like BBC and DW.
Kiswahili has also helped many people, me inclusive, because I've been awarded because of my contribution, my small contribution. Me, I thought it was small, but others see that as a big contribution towards propagating Kiswahili, not only in Uganda, but in East Africa, Africa, and the whole world, using media.
Mr. Siraji Kalyango, and he's deserving, a plaque in recognizing and appreciating, not only in spreading the use of the language of Swahili at the BBC, Voice of America, UBC, but making it much more normal, because ordinarily when you listen to BBC you expect English or Voice of America, but to have a whole section and somebody who's actually a son of the soil, having pioneered or been part of the pioneers of popularizing Swahili, I think it was a very fitting plaque and appreciation.
Every year, 14th of October is celebrated in Tanzania in remembrance of the day former president of Tanzania died at the age of 77 in the UK. Sadat Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
Congratulations, Senior Siraji Kalyango, on that recognition, and thank you for the good work. Effective communication is critical in ensuring that any pandemic is controlled and averted in a suitable manner. This was revealed by a group of researchers from School of Public Health, Makerere University, while disseminating their research findings on improvement of health communication on stigma and coping strategies in the COVID-19 pandemic in the country.
So there is nothing apart from this which we can do.
COVID-19 pandemic has affected human health and the healthcare system. In some cases, it led to violence, stigma and discrimination against suspected cases, largely because of information gaps. Research done by School of Public Health shows that there are several communication gaps, especially to families and host communities, where patients have been in treatment and isolation centers.
Stigmatization of patients as well as their contacts was indeed evident in several communities, and they faced a number of challenges, as I've already indicated, rejection not only from the community but also from their own families. And because they were perceived to be a problem, you can you can infect families. So that was part of the thing that we looked at. And this was mainly attributed to limited awareness as well as misinformation about the facts of spread, the facts of infection. Therefore, effective communication is actually critical in ensuring that the pandemic is controlled and averted in a sustained fashion.
The study, funded by Government of Uganda through Makerere Research and Innovation Fund, was done in the districts of Kampala, Wakiso, Tororo, Gulu and Luwero. The research found out a slightly higher proportion of COVID-19 survivors that exhibited moderate and high stress compared to quarantined persons.
Be declared COVID-free to the community so that they can thrive within their community. Finally, our continuous follow-up at the community level on how to manage all forms of stigma, and being reminded that having been declared free does not guarantee not getting reinfection. So be reminded to always continue to observe the SOP.
The study also revealed that COVID-19 survivors felt that there was unclear information on their COVID-19 status and on how they were reached out to.
Many of the people you find in quarantine cases were in confusion, and this kind of confusion is what helped even to propagate the stigma, because stigma relies mostly on lack of information, lack of transparency. Involvement of communities in identifying proper channels for communication should be very important for us to deal with this stigma. We need to identify correct avenues that we can utilize, especially those that have been found by this study to be channels that are more reliably taken up by the communities.
Zahara Abigaba, UBC.
Kabale Municipality Member of Parliament Dr. Nicholas Kamada is concerned about lack of sufficient government health centers in Kabale Municipality. He was donating 12 million shillings ultrasound scan to Kamukira Health Center for.
Kabale Municipality is among the few urban areas without health center 3s in the country, but requires health equipment to handle patients. An ultrasound scan machine is important in health centers that handle expectant mothers. In Kabale Municipality, one has to pay 20,000 shillings to get services from private clinics.
Now, the reason why I brought it here, I brought it for a program called Point of Care Ultrasound. Point of Care Ultrasound does not come to replace the ultrasonographer, does not even come to replace the radiographer, but it comes just as an advanced stethoscope. The stethoscope is the other thing the doctor carries when they are listening to your heart, but this is advanced. The stethoscope may listen and know that your heart is not okay, but now this one even looks there and say
things have to be done in a certain way that makes things faster and more accurate and sure. So we are very hopeful that this machine will do a lot of work for us to ensure that the lives of our people are safe and that the children that are delivered are in good condition.
Kamukira Health Center 4 in charge, Daniel Tumwesije, explained that every month they receive over 300 expectant mothers who need ultrasound scan services.
tubona abakazi bingi konka ushanga bari kwitaga scan because scan is a routine thing you're supposed to do in a continental. Kujikora in the first trimester and the last trimester. Okureba omwana koko ali in the first trimester if the baby has formed or not formed. Kujikora mu third trimester kureba omwana koko ajyamu. So tushana twine challenge kazi turi kubarifari nzo kujya ngo bakore ka scan. Konka ka scan umuntu kajya tesende nyingi takuzibasa. So
very good resolution.
With the MP's donation to Kamukira Health Center 4, we come to the end of our first segment. Let's take a very short break. We'll return with business news tonight. Keep it with us.
Uganda, today is a great day to work towards your dreams. Dial *185*7# and select savings to save as low as 500 Ugandan shillings on regular savings or 250,000 Ugandan shillings for fixed deposits. Airtel Money Super Saver is powered by KCB Bank Uganda. Airtel Money, instant, secure, borderless. T's and C's apply.
The third edition of the Bombay Business Summit is here, starting at 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every Friday from the 15th of October to the 12th of November. Join us via Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube as we discuss topics like surviving and thriving through the pandemic, investing in real estate, trade and investment opportunities in Uganda, alternative dispute resolution, business formalization, and inclusive resource mobilization for Uganda's economic independence. Don't miss out.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Getting GoTV was the best decision James has ever made. Finding a good place to watch football was never easy, but it was costly. Until James discovered something big. Now he can finally enjoy the benefits of homegrown advantage with a decoder and 1 month of GoTV Valley. For just 25,000 shillings, enjoy the world's biggest leagues and cap competitions. GoTV Uganda, love it.
The Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, together with the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, the National Agriculture Research Organization, and partners will host this year's World Food Day commemoration at National Agriculture Research Laboratories in Kawanda on Saturday, 16th of October 2021 under the theme, Our Actions Are Our Future, Better Production, Better Nutrition, a Better Environment, and a Better Life. The National World Food Day event is by invite only, but the public can join the activities on TV and on social media using hashtag World Food Day. Remember that every year, 1/3 of all food is lost or wasted. When we waste food, we also waste the labor, energy, and previous resources used to produce it. To feed everyone, we need to transform the way we grow and consume food. Let's start today. Eat local, eat seasonal, and eat sustainably to safeguard our future food. Our actions, our future.
My home, I smile when I think of you, Uganda. My home, my home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda. My home, oh my Uganda.
I know with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home, under the sun so bright, under the moon at night, on my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama.
At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
UBC Business News tonight. Welcome back from the break. Butambala district residents have been urged to exploit the immense business opportunities brought about by the connection onto the national power grid. According to Aisha Kabanda, the area member of parliament, she's optimistic of enhanced commercial ventures which will in turn boost the local economy.
Residents of Chitimba and Mpanga in Butambala district have lauded government, Umeme and KfW of Germany for their connection onto the national power grid. They say their future is brighter owing to the benefits of electricity, with their eyes focused on commercial activity.
We are expecting to put on machines like millers or milling machines, popcorn machines.
The residents' sentiments are re-echoed by their member of parliament.
The struggle around this area now is to engage people into production. Their excuse normally is been that there's no market. But market is normally not there because you're not being able to add value, and also you produce in very few quantities. We now want to mobilize people to produce massively in whatever product they will go to produce.
The electricity connectivity projects in Panga and Chitimba were co-financed by government of Uganda through Umeme, a utility company, at a value of 680 million shillings. This electricity line that we have constructed is 5 kilometers long, and we have also installed 3 transformers. The power transformers help us in connecting customers, in addition to boosting the quality of electricity.
So, okufuna transformer satu nacho sichangu.
The demand in this area, so far we are impressed because we commissioned, the preliminary commissioning was done like 3 weeks ago, but so far as I've said, we have so far connected 60% of the targeted number. So the demand is good.
So far, 60% of the 1,450 targeted households by the project have been connected. This initiative by government, private sector and the development partners is in line with government's plans to achieve 60% electricity connectivity by 2025. Dennis Igor for UBC News.
We now go beyond Ugandan borders. Tanzania has held the inaugural East African Regional Tourism Expo in the northern city of Arusha in conjunction with the East African Community Secretariat. The expo is to promote the region's tourism attractions and to reboot virus-hit tourism sector.
True to the name of the company she founded, Agatha Bernard is ferocious in her pursuit of taking her business to international levels. That's why she came to the region's biggest tourism hunting ground, the East African Regional Tourism Expo. Her Afro Lioness Adventures is an all-women, female-owned tour company that has been in operation for 3 years. After toiling for 2 years to build it, last year, COVID-19 threatened to take it all away. She came to the expo to collaborate with others in the sector to make sure the losses she made in 2020 don't happen again.
I've get to meet so many people, and the good part is everybody who comes into our band is like very excited, like only females, like, so they're becoming so surprised and inspired, and they are all willing to support us in one way or another.
Tanzania becomes the first East African country to host the expo. The event was introduced by the East African Community Ministers responsible for tourism and is done on a rotational basis. Burundi will be the next host in 2022.
We passed a strategic plan to promote tourism together through the East Africa Tourism Common Market Strategy.
East Africa Community reports reveal that the region lost close to 70% of international tourist arrivals in 2020. Coupled with massive losses in tourism earnings and tourist-related jobs. Global vaccine rollouts have given players in the tourism sector hope. This event aims to promote East Africa tourism to the world. Now, this launch aims to take the region to new heights as it explores a whole new world of touristic opportunities. The tourism sector is one of the most important areas of cooperation for the East African community, contributing to the economies of partner states in terms of GDP about 10%, export earnings 17%, and jobs about 7%. The EAC Secretary General says its multiplier effect and linkages with other sectors are undeniable.
Almost we have lost 92% in terms of revenues that are generated through tourism. And therefore, it calls upon all of us to work together with all the stakeholders, the private sector, and indeed the governments, to ensure that we market East Africa as a common destination for tourism.
As the expo wraps up with a plan to reconvene next year, participants were given a chance to explore Tanzania's tourist attractions like the Serengeti National Park and Ngorongoro Crater. It's hoped that the excursions will allow service providers and policymakers to create awareness of tourism investment opportunities for East Africa amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
We now go talk sport. Express FC will start its title defense this Friday as the Start Times Uganda Premier League returns. Clubs have beefed up their squads while others have secured new coaches. Meanwhile, the fight between Golola Moses is in the camp for a non-title fight against South Sudan's Majok.
After almost 4 months without league action, the Startime Uganda Premier League returns. Defending champion Express FC will battle new entrants Al Wahil, eyeing to defend the title. Al Wahil, that finished the entire big league season unbeaten, are the boys to watch. They play at Wankuku Stadium, and the game shouldn't be underlooked. Express have maintained almost their entire squad that helped them win the title, making additions of Deus Bukenya, Joel Mutakuba and Nicholas Kasozi to the squad. 2 other games lined up on the day. Ondopalaka FC, that failed to impress last season, takes on UPDF FC at the Greenlight Stadium in Arua, while Mbarara City plays Lotio Brai Stars at Kacheka Stadium. Meanwhile, Ugandans are to be graced with some kickboxing action during the festivities. James Majok, who defeated Golola Moses, will be in Uganda for a rematch against Watermouth Golola Moses on December 26th. Golola has officially entered camp, training not to disappoint his fans.
Kosi wayinza okubeerawo challenge nti mbadde maze ebbanga ddene nga sirwana kyova olaba kino kindeetedde okunganyingira camp obudde nga bukyali. Nzikiriza Katonda ennaku eziwera ddala ekinaana bwe nabanga nzikoze training constantly zingenda kubeera ng'omusajja ono mukuba.
This will be an untitled fight, and Golola looks to revenge against the praised Majok in a 6-round contest. And in tennis, the East Africa Zone 4 Junior Championship continues in Lugogo. Uganda's had a fair start at the tournament, Tony Blair defeating Nyamnyola Julius of Burundi. Abdulatif Senyondwa, on the other hand, was defeated by Miki Giraneza of Burundi. 4 countries, including Kenya, Tanzania, and Burundi, are taking part at the tournament that climaxes over the weekend.
Thank you so much for watching. That brings us to the end of tonight's engagement. Let us first have the weather focus report with Mili Kutesa here.
Thanks for tuning on UBC. Kutesa Mili with your weather update. We are still having thunder showers, more especially in the southern part of our country. This is brought in by the rain belt that is still over Africa, including our country, Uganda, plus the moist winds that are blowing from Congo airmains towards our country, enhanced with the Lake Victoria. That is the rainfall that we are receiving, more especially in the southern part of our country. Tomorrow morning, we expect to wake up with a bright and a sunny day, most parts of our country. Apart from some few areas across the lake shores, I expect you to have light showers. Afternoon hours, though, we expect a pickup of thunder showers in most parts of the southern part of our country. The northern part of our region is expected to continue with sunny intervals. Temperature is up to 30 degrees of maximum in the northern part of our country towards the Karamoja. Then South, we are seeing it a bit high at 31 degrees Celsius in our capital city Kampala with 27. Kawale Highlands with the lowest of 22 degrees Celsius. News moving out of Uganda, touring other cities across the globe, forecasting cloudy conditions across Doha with a maximum of 37 degrees Celsius. Zanzibar and Mombasa with light showers at a maximum of 32 degrees Celsius across Zanzibar. New Delhi and Dubai with a maximum of 36 degrees Celsius across Dubai and with sunny conditions. Thanks for tuning on UBC. I stay Samili. Stay tuned and see you tomorrow.
Yes, we'll close with a look at the top stories in what we had for you tonight.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
President Yoweri Museveni has warned ministers against corruption. NSSF says they have no money to pay lump sum for the proposed 20%. Tanzania has hosted East Africa's largest expo to reboot the virus-hit tourism sector. While football clubs beef up squads as others secure new coaches.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
And that brings us to the end of all we had for you tonight. Thank you so much for being part of the bulletin as a viewer. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with Elizabeth Nakakuna and the whole team here. We wish you the best of the night. Let's catch you in our other programs. Bye-bye and good night.